Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener-supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, a community-owned and operated hospital. Here for you when you need us. From emergency care to routine checkups and screenings, caregivers are here and ready to provide the safe, high-quality care you need close to home. Online at sanjuanregional.com with the latest health information and resources to help you live life better here. Ten minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Tuesday morning, the 29th day of March, 2022. Pardon me. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin, and thanks for tuning in to KSJE. 90.9 FM, over the air, of course, here in San Juan County. Everywhere else on the website from ksje.com. And stay tuned, everyone, in Durango. We're getting ready to come back on 103.3 FM, so you can tune in on the radio as well. Stay tuned for that coming up in the next few weeks. Fingers crossed. Welcome also to our viewers who are joining us live this morning. The video is streaming out live to the KSJE Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and our Twitter account. We're glad that you are with us this morning, everybody, because coming up in the next few moments, we're going to get an update from Bloomfield Schools this morning, graduation rates, among other things. Superintendent Dr. Kim Mizell is my guest. She'll be joining me here in the next few moments, so stay tuned for that. Later on this hour, it is Tuesday, of course. That means our Adopt a Pet Tuesday segment. That's coming up today at 8:50 a.m. You can hear it or watch us on the video streams. You'll meet Vince, that great-looking dog on the screen right there, and some other pets available for adoption this week. So join us at 8:50 a.m. this hour on KSJE. Next hour, Mick Hess will take us roving with the arts, our weekday classical music program, of course. Today, Mick is featuring music from Haydn. You'll hear that coming up next hour on KSJE. Don't forget, you can also connect with us on our Instagram page, in addition to our Twitter account, our YouTube channel, and our Facebook page. And if you're a podcast person, well, we invite you to subscribe to KSJE Podcasts. Wherever you listen to podcasts, a lot of our locally produced programs end up on our podcast stream, so you can subscribe for free. Places like iTunes and Spotify and iHeart and Google Podcasts and Pandora. Lots of places to check us out and to take us with you and maybe discover something new that you haven't heard about before. Weather forecast, it's a cloudy Tuesday morning this morning. We've had some showers off and on in the area. I saw some snow off in the distance to the east of San Juan College on the hills this morning. 54 degrees is our forecast high today with a pretty good chance of rain throughout the day today. Overnight tonight, rain showers continuing off and on with a 50% chance of showers, a low 41. Tomorrow, drier but windy weather on Wednesday with partly cloudy skies and a high 58 on Wednesday, 29 on Wednesday night before things kind of calm down on Thursday with a high of 60 degrees with some partly sunny skies. But then look at that, another chance of showers Thursday night into Friday. 60% chance of rain on Thursday night, and then even more of a chance, less of a chance, I should say, pardon me, on Thursday. So we'll take a look at that as well and keep an eye on the forecast for Friday. So let's talk to my guest who is standing by this morning to talk about Bloomfield Schools this morning. Superintendent Dr. Kim Mizell is joining us from her offices in Bloomfield. Dr. Mizell, good morning. Great to see you and have you on the program.
Good morning. I'm frozen, I believe, but I don't know.
Uh-oh. You might be a little frozen. I think you are. Let me try to reconnect with you here because, again, live video streaming, we always wonder what's going to happen. I'm going to reconnect with you in just a minute, Dr. Mizell, so let's see if we can do that. Stand by, everybody. We will try to get Dr. Mizell back with us here in a minute. Hopefully she will come back. But now I have a black screen, so that's not good either. Let's see if she can reconnect with us here as we try to get the show on the road this morning. Don't see her. Dr. Mizell, we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we will reconnect with my guest and get going here on KSJE. KSJE is supported by the Farmington Civic Center, bringing a full slate of entertainment to Farmington and San Juan County. Ballet Folklorico, celebrating their 70th anniversary, Wednesday, April 6th at 7:30 p.m. The Farmington Civic Center, 200 West Arrington in downtown Farmington. Find out more online at fmtn.org/shows.
I think I'm on now.
Or 505-599-1148. And we're back on KSJE this morning. We have reconnected with Dr. Kim Mizell, the superintendent of schools from the Bloomfield School District. So sorry, Dr. Mizell. Thank you for reconnecting with me. Now we can see you moving and breathing and in all your glory. Thank you for rejoining me this morning.
Thank you.
You bet. We have reason to celebrate this morning, and that's why I really wanted to get you back on the air, of course, because you've had some really exciting and positive news as far as graduation rates go for your students in Bloomfield, right?
Yes, we're celebrating in Bloomfield. We always compare ourselves to, obviously, the state average and then other districts in the area. And Bloomfield is at the entire district, that's including our alternative high school, is at 86.22 graduation rate. So 86% of the students have graduated in each cohort. And this is data from last year. So it's COVID year.
Right.
And we had success. And the state average is 76.8. So we're 10 points above the state.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it is a big celebration. It's been basically 7 years of moving the needle in the district in the right direction for students. And so, for example, our alternative high school started out at 21.6% and we're at 71.26 now. So big increases, but it's implementation and vision that happened when I first came on board and wanted to try some different things in the high school, and they're working for the students. So we're really excited about that. And basically, we're third in the county. Farmington Early College High School, which is achievement program, so they're very successful. And then Pedro Vista just barely beat us out by 1 point. So we're right there. And
neck and neck.
I always take into consideration that we have some of the most at-risk students in the county, and we're performing very high with them. So
right.
That's
very good. And I do think I need to point out, too, that the San Juan College High School includes students from Bloomfield.
That's right. We send 10 every year
right.
to the high school. So
I think you can take some credit for those numbers, too.
Well, sure. We're going to take credit for whatever we can. So
right.
The other thing that we look at is the demographic groups.
Mm-hmm.
And, for example, at our high school, the Native American population is at 82%, which is really high. Hispanic population, 90.5. And then your Caucasian is 86.2. So they're all in the 80s, and the students are experiencing success in Bloomfield. And just looking at some of the socioeconomic disadvantages, it's 86.8. So gives you an idea, that we're doing a good job providing an education for our students. So we're celebrating this year with these results. It's exciting.
Very much so. Well, congratulations, Dr. Kim Mizell, and everyone associated with Bloomfield Schools. I mean, you really have to spread that around to your staff and your teachers and the students and the parents, right, that are partners with you in this whole endeavor with their students. Right.
So we are, we'll be presenting at our board meeting, and we'll be publishing the information here shortly. So it's exciting.
Very good. And so I guess I have to ask, do you think, is the message maybe finally getting out to students about the benefits of staying in school and graduating as opposed to dropping out and the struggles that maybe the students face when they do not finish their high school careers and get that high school diploma? Do you think that that message is finally getting to these young people?
I believe so. I have to say that the families are working and valuing the education and supporting us in the district. And it's just a positive note for the Bloomfield community. We have great parents, great students, and they they're striving to be successful, which is always a wonderful experience. And so uh, it's a combination of many things. But in Bloomfield, we started with making sure our high school teachers were trained in advanced placement instruction. And what happened with that is the instruction in the school has elevated for all students. So they're getting quality instruction. And then we have the credit recovery program at CYB that works with the students and supports and mentors them if they get behind in credits and monitors them on a regular basis. And if they attain the credits they need to graduate, they can go back and graduate with the high school, or they can graduate with Charlie White Brown. It doesn't matter, but they have the opportunity to do that. And we're seeing a lot of success with that. So we're excited with what we're accomplishing for the students.
Right. And it seems to me that a lot of these options that maybe students are presented with and their parents, right, about here's where you are, you know, you're at risk of not graduating, but here's what we can do to help you, and these are the choices that you have. That seems to be really helpful for these kids, these high schoolers who maybe learn at different levels, have different things going on in their lives, to be able to maybe again do the credit recovery and walk with their class or not walk with their class, whatever they decide to do. But is that all part of this kind of new approach to
It
helping
is.
individual students and not just group them all together as a class and you're either pass or fail?
It is. It's pretty much we start identifying students that are at risk about sophomore year, and then we provide options for them. And they have to work real hard to get that diploma out of Charlie White Brown. It's very much it's 4 quarter. It's basically a track system that they have. The first quarter to accomplish things, and then they move on to the next thing. So in college where you have the 4 week courses, it's very similar to that. So it's a very much a modified high school diploma program, but it's fast tracking these kids to accomplish what they need to do. So they just focus on the credits they have to recover and move forward as fast as they can to be with their graduating class. So it has paid off. It's doing well.
Right. Very, very good. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, Dr. Mizell, but of course, I think folks might look at these numbers and certainly celebrate with you the 86.2% graduation rates, but still question, what about those other 14% of kids who maybe aren't part of that number? Does that concern you?
Yes. In fact, we are making a change within our high school to add a cohort monitoring support person at the main high school. So their role will be to monitor students and counsel them and support them in attaining those credits, and a little more hands-on with them because that's a big high school. There's 800 students, and our counselors don't necessarily have time to really focus on that. So we're making some changes to address that as well. When you look at Bloomfield's data, I mean, we moved the needle from 64.6 to 86.22 over a 7-year period. So it's hard work. It's takes time. As we move forward, that's what we're trying to do. And
Sure.
we compare ourselves to real high performing districts in the state. So Rio Rancho is 87.1. So, and they're like one of the top districts in the state.
Right.
So
And you're very close to them with
yes, we
with
are.
those numbers. And those
Hmm.
numbers, I should say too, right, when you look at that increase, represents hundreds of students who have now who have graduated.
Right. And when you break it down, like in by population or whatever, you're looking at like we have approximately 80 students in the Native American category. So, and then you have to take the 82 out and the percentage out.
Hmm.
And it looks like about maybe 16 students did not graduate. So that's the finite number. And so
Right.
we're going to hone in on those students and address it by each grade level. And on average, you're looking at about 25 students per grade level that would be considered to be at risk for not graduating. So we're going to touch base with them early on and start supporting and encouraging them and just monitoring their progress.
Sure. And this data, Dr. Mizell, allows you to kind of drill down into the ethnic groups and other minority status and things like that of these numbers, right? To see how subsets are doing with regard to graduation rates and things along that line too.
Yes, we're always looking at disaggregated data. So we know exactly where the populations of students aren't being successful. And, we identify them pretty quick. So we're, just looking at like we have a high homeless rate.
Right.
So they're at 56.7% graduation rate. So, we know we need to have some work to do there. And we have a family liaison that does outreach. And a lot of times the lack of success has to do with attendance. They don't come to school. So we're struggling with that. I think probably a lot of people are after COVID. It's
Right.
hard to get back into that traditional routine of high school. We do offer online high school through this district, so students can take advantage of that if they so choose. So there's a lot of options, like you said. So we try to make sure that we're looking at education a little differently every year. So
Right. Well, I think you have to, but I think that also points out about some of the things that the school district, is dealing with that maybe really are out of your control. I mean, it's really hard for a school district to help a family that is homeless, right? Except you will teach that child when they get to school, but if they can't get to school or they're not sure where they're going to sleep tonight, that probably affects them in the classroom.
yeah, we apply for homeless funds to do that. So we provide some of their basic needs. Sometimes we provide hotel rooms. It just depends on what's needed. It's not like a permanent fix, but sometimes it's a band-aid for some of these families. And the work that we're doing there, we have about 120 students that are considered to be homeless. So that's a large number of students that are really at risk for not being successful just because their basic needs aren't being met. So it's very challenging.
Right. Well, and again, I stand a bit corrected because it appears that the district can help in some of these situations and can help some of these families with some of these funds that you're talking about. When you compare Bloomfield to the other districts, you mentioned just how close your numbers are to, say, Rio Rancho. But I know you mentioned, too, that you've got a lot of at-risk students. Does that also show the data from, say, Rio Rancho, for example? I would assume that maybe Bloomfield has a higher percentage of at-risk students than a school district like Rio Rancho might have?
Yep, we do, but I don't have that broken down. I haven't looked at Rio Rancho's data
Sure.
by demographic group, but we're just comparing ourselves to county districts, local
Hmm.
county,
Right.
and then we look at those high performing high schools and just kind of get a gauge. Um, we kind of feel like we've modeled our programs similar to Rio Ranchos. We went and visited them the first year I came in and kind of got a lot of ideas about what they're doing. And I guess we'd say we are a sister school. to some degree in some of the things that they're doing. We have a lot of similarities.
Right. When you share this, I'm sure you already have, with your principals and your teachers and staff. I mean, do you hope that they feel some sort of recognition and confirmation that they're on the right path and that kids are getting the message and sticking with it and finding their way to that graduation stage?
Yes, and it takes about 7 years for language acquisition to happen. So what this shows is we get them there.
Right. Right. Well, congratulations. This is wonderful data that I know you're excited to share with the community and with your staff and your teachers. So I'm glad you're able to share it with us this morning as well, Dr. Kim Mizell. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
You bet. Let me turn to a different topic this morning, and that is some of your younger grades and how they are doing. You were telling me before we came on the air this morning that some of the younger kids seem to be holding their own and doing pretty good as you continue to look at things during COVID and how kids are doing when we talk about lost learning and getting back up to speed, things like that. What's the data showing you there?
Yes, our third quarter data that we just collected indicates that a lot of our students are at least maintaining grade level standard and understanding. So there's a few pockets that we're really focusing in on. We've had conversations about what needs to happen next year for them. For example, our second and third graders, we did not have the money for the first year of COVID for devices for those kids to learn from home. So we were doing paper packets and things like that. And so we're seeing the results of COVID with those two groups of kids, and pleased to see that the second graders have come on. They're making the progress. Third grade is still lagging. So as they transition to the next grade level, which is another school, Naba'ani, we're infusing professional development in reading instruction and math, and also considering additional supports for that grade level, because we know we have a lot of work to do to catch them up. And it's not the students' fault, so it's sad when that happens, but I have confidence in the schools and the teachers to do this difficult work. We are also having a STEM summer school program. They go half a day, and we're recommending that those students make sure that they're in the STEM summer school program because it's going to be fun and engaging learning, but also reinforcing those skills so that they don't have learning loss over the summer. So we're doing some things to address our concerns and keep our fingers crossed. Sometimes I know hope is not a strategy, but we have a lot of strategies to support the students.
Right. Well, but it seems like with those tools, I guess, that your teachers can use and some of these other opportunities, the students can help themselves as well, given these tools that are available.
Right. We have programs that they can access from home now. We do have the one-to-one correspondence with the computers now. They can work. Last year, we didn't take the computers back so they could work over the summer on those programs, providing support that way. And so they can continue learning all summer if the parents put in a regimented schedule of some sort where, after breakfast, they work for maybe an hour or depending on the age level and work on those math and reading programs that we provide for home learning.
Right. It really is a partnership, isn't it, between the district and the parents?
It is. It
Right.
is.
Very good. Well, Dr. Mizell, I ask you this every time we're together, and I have to ask again, how are we looking for the GPA numbers for the cars at the end of the school year?
As of yesterday, we have 242 students that have a 3.5 or above GPA that will be in the drawing.
Very
So,
good.
a lot of students.
Excellent. And again, this is your promotion, I guess, for lack of a better term, for these students, right? You work with local businesses and get at least 2 cars every year. That's what's happening this year, and they will be given away to one of these students on that GPA list at the end of the school year, correct?
Right. So we advertise it, encourage the students, and we have this year we'll be able to have the big assembly that the price is right.
Yes, right.
And celebrate, the students' success with the car giveaway.
Very exciting. And I know those are an exciting moment for these students, right? Because they are, well, certainly sincerely surprised to be selected. And it could be life changing for some of these kids that don't have a car, perhaps, to get a new to them car from
Right.
the school district.
Right. So it's just encouraging them to do well. Used to be an attendance incentive, but with COVID and sickness, I didn't want to go there because I don't want them to come to school if they're sick.
Right.
So we changed it to the GPA.
Sure, but that makes it available to almost everybody that keeps their grades up. So that's how that works.
Right.
So
yeah.
Perfect. Very good. Final minutes this morning together, Dr. Mizell, just talking about budgets. I know you are working with your team on the budget from what the state has given you, but certainly the exciting news, I think, is the increase in salaries for your levels 1, 2, and 3 teachers. That's statewide, of course, and other boosts for other support staff and things along that line for schools. I mean, that should all be helpful. The thing that we hear is that it helps make our schools more competitive with neighboring states. Are all those things going to be positives for Bloomfield?
Absolutely. It's been needing to happen for a while, and we're excited about the increases for our teachers and all staff. Staff will go, just support staff will go to definitely $15 an hour. And, your level 1 teachers will be at 50, level 2, 60, and level 3, 70. We're also providing signing bonuses for level 2 or 3 teachers that want to come to Bloomfield in special ed, ELA, math, hard to fill positions. We'll give them a $5,000 signing bonus. So we're recruiting hard. We're trying to get people to come in, and please look at our website for openings, and we're excited about what's happening in Bloomfield.
Very exciting. Well, that's pretty lucrative. It sounds to me like a lucrative offer for these signing bonuses.
Yes.
So, very good.
We, everyone is struggling with finding people. I've been in contact with the universities. They have the new residency program, and I want to establish rapport with the universities for that residency program, because if someone wants to do their student teaching, they can come to Bloomfield and do their student teaching in Bloomfield and make $35,000 a year while doing their student teaching. So it's a new bill that just passed, and it's trying to infuse educators into the system earlier. But we're looking forward to hopefully getting some of those college graduates as well.
Right. Very good. Seems like there's a lot of programs coming online to support these people who want to be teachers, whether they are coming back to the profession from an earlier stint, or they were working in some other field and want to get into the classroom, or some other situation. There's a lot of programs out there to support these individuals as they go back to school or get their certificates or what have you to help them reach those goals.
Right. I mean, basically, you can get your college degree paid for if you go into education.
Right.
So, I mean, there's some opportunity for sure for people to become educators. It's going to get more and more lucrative to be an educator, just because nationally there's a wave of people that are like my age. Probably 50% of the teaching population will be retiring within a couple of years. So it's going to be even more challenging. So I would encourage high school students to go into education, because the salaries are just going to go up. It's not something that is going to be stagnant for very long.
Good advice. Good advice, Dr. Mizell. Well, I always appreciate your time with me on these sessions, and we'll talk again in April.
All right. Thank you. You have a wonderful day.
All right. You too. Thank you very much. That's Bloomfield School Superintendent Dr. Kim Mizell, my guest this morning here on KSJE. KSJE is supported by the Farmington Civic Center, bringing a full slate of entertainment to Farmington and San Juan County. Ballet Folklorico, celebrating their 70th anniversary, Wednesday, April 6th at 7:30 p.m. The Farmington Civic Center, 200 West Arrington in downtown Farmington. Find out more online at fmtn.org/shows or 505-599-1148. KSJE is proud to support the 11th annual Sassy Tortoise and Hare Run in downtown Farmington. 5 and 10K fun runs and a 1-mile stroller roll, beginning at 10:30 a.m. Saturday, April 2nd at Orchard Park. Music, food trucks, and more until 4 p.m. Find out more about the Sassy Run on runningguru.com. The Sassy Run is a fundraiser for sexual assault services of Northwest New Mexico. KSJE and San Juan College present the Student Success Coaching Tip of the Week. Week 10, Memorize versus Understand. One of the studying tips for college that can make a massive difference in how you approach new information is knowing the difference between memorizing the material and understanding it. Memorizing information isn't actually learning the information, it's just helping you learn how to repeat it during a finite time. The Student Success Coaching Tip of the Week, presented by KSJE and the Student Achievement Center at San Juan College. Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did, and if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.